is blocked by a wreck, and Hines Drive is still closed because of flooding.
Well, I guess
WJR's weather first. You will need plenty of windshield washers solvent today. Partly sunny skies, but these snow showers, snow flurries, and just snowflakes will linger throughout the afternoon today. No appreciable accumulation, though. A high today of 26. Tonight, cloudy and cold. A low down to 16. Ken Rogulski, WJR, traffic and weather first.
February is winding down, and so is our President's Day sales event. In fact, it all ends Monday night, February 28th at 6 p.m. at Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Hi, friends. Bill Gowling here, telling qualified Chrysler employees about our great February lease incentives. For example, lease a 2021 Jeep Renegade 80th Anniversary Edition for just $256 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down. For the finest in sales, service, and selection, come see us. That's Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, and online at Gowling.com.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
That dinner was delicious. What's next?
I'm thinking just the check.
Do you frequently have gas, bloating, diarrhea, stomach pain, or loose oily stools after eating? One or more of these symptoms could be a sign of exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, and it may be time to talk to your doctor.
If you have EPI, Creon may be right for you. Creon, pancrelipase, is an oral prescription medication that treats EPI. Creon replaces enzymes you may be missing to help you break down food properly.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Do not chew capsules or contents, as this may cause mouth irritation. Tell your doctor if you have unusual or severe stomach pain, bloating, trouble passing stool, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, worsening of painful swollen joints, or allergic reactions. Other side effects may include changes in blood sugars, gas, dizziness, or sore throat and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Talk to your doctor about Creon, the #1 prescribed EPI treatment, and visit gocreon.com. That's GOCREON.com. Or call 1-800-633-9110.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem.
14 and 44 softer out.
Yesterday's lottery ticket won't fill up your tank. Because when you're feeding a gambling problem,
your grocery total is $98.
It's difficult putting food on the table, paying your bills, and keeping your life together. If you or a loved one is struggling with gambling, get free confidential help at michigan.gov/problem gambling. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
I know.
This is the 35th Annual Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on 760 WJR, with 3 ways to donate now. Visit salmish.org, text BREAD to 24365, or call 833-SAL-HOPE, and keep the bed and bread trucks rolling. Now with more, here's Mitch Albom.
All right, it's time to pass the baton, as they say in the Olympics, to the third leg. Third leg, I always say the most underappreciated.
Of
the legs, yes. Because the first guy out gets all the attention, and then, of course, he hands it off to somebody, and they pay attention to that. And then the anchor leg, which, of course, is going to be Dick Burton. And, lots of attention there. The anchor, that's Carl Lewis. But we are the third leg. Yes. And you know what? If you take a third leg off a table, it doesn't, it wobbles.
It wobbles.
So
that's right.
We are here to keep things straight.
And when you look around, Mitch, it looks like everybody that was here has decided to use this time to go get something to eat.
Yes. The place has cleared out. Those of you not used to hearing us in this hour, I'm Mitch Albom. Kenny Brown, my co-host, is alongside. Steve Courtney is here, as you hear, who's already been on. Today, earlier in the Salvation Army efforts, and Kevin O'Neill, the great one, who was there at the very beginning of these Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon.
Numero uno, yeah.
The very first one with Dick Burton back in what year?
1990.
1990.
It was the Salvation Club back then, so long ago.
They weren't even Army.
They weren't even an Army.
They were just like Boy Scouts. Well, if you've been listening up till now, you know that the aim of today is to raise money. Mm-hmm. And that may make some of you immediately go for your dial and say, okay, I'll come back on Monday when there's more programming, because after all, there's a war going on suddenly in Europe and we have to pay attention to it. But I would suggest this before you turn off that dial. I don't know if you're like me, but over the last 24 to 48 hours, as we've watched what has unfolded over in Eastern Europe, there is a sense of both anger, frustration, and worst of all, powerlessness, of feeling like we're just sitting here sanctioning and we can't fight, and what's going to happen to us, and what's the implications, and what's going to be, and you feel very, isolated and without ability to change anything. Well, I would submit to you that there is one thing you can do when the world starts to go crazy, and that is try to make a small difference in the areas that you can. And that's exactly what you can do today. You're frustrated with what's going on in the world and the way that man can be so inhumane to fellow men, that there are already hundreds, if not thousands, of people dead because of one crazy, lunatic, power-hungry leader. What can you do about that? You can be more humane. You can be the opposite. You can help your fellow man eat. And that's what this is about. The Bed and Bread Club, Radiothon, and the efforts for the Salvation Army are literally about putting food into the mouths of people. And there are going to be a lot of people in the Ukraine who are going to be starving as this time goes on, because that's what happens in these kind of situations. We can't necessarily do anything about that. We can do something about people who are fighting hunger in our own backyard. So you're frustrated. Here's a way that you can get out of frustration. Make a donation of any type, any size, to 833-SAL-HOPE, or text it to bread 24365, or go online. I know there's an online thing here. Where is the online one? Is it salhope.org? Can somebody... salmish.org.
Yeah, salmish.org.
Okay. So a little confusing. Salhope on the phone line, but salmish.org. You can help feed 5 people for nearly a month for just $120. You can feed 10 people for nearly a month for $240, which is the most popular giving level. But any amount of money will be welcome. And right now we're in the middle of a match that started at 1 o'clock for $100,000. And I'm told that we only have 42,000 to go. So the people who were on before us did the heavy lifting. They got 58 of it out of the way, and we've only got to do 42. So we can do that, folks. We can raise that money.
We can do it.
833-SAL-HOPE. That's if you like to dial numbers instead of letters. 833-725-4673. Megan Slavin has just joined us here. She's Director of Communications with Meridian. Spent over 16 years of healthcare experience, the last 6 spent at Meridian, and during that time she's been involved with lots of community engagement activities, including community partnerships, implementing events, focus groups, etc. And now as the Director of Communications, she oversees the health plan's marketing, public relations, community investments, and other communications. And she's got a deep passion for improving the health of her community through food and education. Goes all the way back to her early days as a health coach. You look pretty healthy now, too, so you haven't forgotten anything. Megan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about Meridian's involvement with this, and why is it important for Meridian to support the Bed and Bread program?
Well, Meridian is a government-funded healthcare program, our insurance plan, and we really believe in supporting the community around us, and and it goes beyond just our members. We want to reach the people and make sure that their needs are being met. And programs like this with the Salvation Army and their Bed and Bread truck is so important to make sure that we're really fighting the issues that the community is really facing with hunger.
You've actually been out on these trucks, have you not?
I have.
Yeah. So tell us an anecdote from them that always rings truer than when we talk sort of in generalities, when you're out there and seeing people face to face.
Oh, you're going to tug at my heartstrings a little bit.
That's what we do here.
That experience was something like anything, I've never experienced anything like that before. Being out on that truck and really seeing the needs of the people. I'll never forget this moment when I heard a mother asking, if we had any coats for her child. Being a mom myself, I was like, oh gosh, what would I do if I was in her situation? And being on there and being able to help support and provide something to her that she really desperately needed, not just for herself, but also for her kids, was huge. And it makes that's why this event and people calling in to donate really makes a difference in the lives of the community.
Yeah, especially now when we've got this match. If we can raise $42,000, it's matched to go up to $100,000. So the next $42,000 we get in is worth $84,000. So let's please try to make sure that happens. It's interesting, Megan, because you talked about what would I do in that situation. And I think that that's the best way to get people to try to give is to think about, well, what if I had to deal with that? Because most of us don't. So I always say, okay, in the wintertime, you look out your window. How many of you, when you wake up in the morning, you look out your window and you see the snow has covered the ground and you go, isn't that beautiful? Wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Then think about how many people who are out in the street who, when that snow falls, they go, oh no. Okay, now where am I going to go? Now where am I going to sleep? Now where am I going to find shelter? And if that seems to you to be a world apart, and you say, wow, that's a totally different experience than I have, then recognize that those people are probably no more than 30 minutes from you. 30 minutes from most of the people who are listening to us, at least in the Metro Detroit area, you can go and find people who need the bed and bread truck. 30 minutes away are people, like you just said, Megan, who don't have coats for their children, who don't have food to feed their kids, who don't have a place to sleep. If you can understand the difference between those two worlds and see how unfair that seems, that you can be 30 minutes in one direction and leading a whole different life, like you say, with coats, maybe that's good motivation to give.
Yeah, absolutely. Being on that truck too, like those truck drivers are amazing. The relationships they've built with the people that they're there every day. Those truck drivers are out on the roads, the streets, 7 days a week, and that might be the only meal those people have for that day. And to just watch them interact with all of their really customers, right? Because they're not paying customers, but they're their customers.
Clients.
It was just so heartwarming. It was a great experience. And if anyone ever gets the chance to ride along on one of these trucks, I really highly recommend it.
I was thinking too, Megan, you were talking about the coats. We had somebody come up to us when I was on the truck, and how often do we think about our socks? You don't think about your socks. They're just there. You get up in the morning, you put them on, whatever. You don't think about your socks. And this one woman just would give anything just for some dry socks for her dad and for her kids. And that just blew me away. I mean, just that experience of being on that truck is incredible.
And to talk about that 30 minutes from where you live, as opposed to being, another country or another continent. This is right in our backyard. So please help. 833-SAL-HOPE. That's 833-725-4673 to dial. Text the word bread to 24365. You make a donation that way, or on the web at salmish.org. Again, $120 feeds 5 people for nearly a month. $240 doubles that to 10 people for nearly a month. Salvation Army providing more than 77,000 nights of shelter annually, or more than 200 nights every single night. Megan, thank you for spending some time with us, and thank you for what Meridian's doing.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Megan Slavin joining us from Meridian Health. A brief break, and we'll come back with more here on 760 WJR.
Dorothy Greggs found herself in a position no one wants to be in. She had a heart attack, and she lost
they've been here since
routine home maintenance. She couldn't afford to stay in her home, and the cost of her medication was so high, she was at a breaking point.
I was sick, and I wasn't taking my medication because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to pay rent and get the medications that I need. My medications cost $489, and I just couldn't afford it.
After exhausting all of her options of staying with family and friends, Dorothy became homeless through no fault of her own. But thankfully, a conversation with someone at Henry Ford Hospital completely changed Dorothy's trajectory.
I talked to one of the patient advocates there, and she was able to give me the number to Cam. I called Cam, and the lady spoke with me, and she was so nice and helpful. And she told me, she said, I could probably try to get you a place for tonight. I don't know how long it's going to be, but you will definitely be off the street.
And that bed was one of many beds offered to those in need by the Salvation Army Bed and Bread program. Dorothy credits in part the Salvation Army for helping her get back onto her feet and helping her get back to a place of happiness. She's got her own apartment now, and she takes those medications as prescribed. And Dorothy says for all of those still in need of help, she has this simple message.
Don't ever give up.
I'm Chris Renwick.
Eric Bowling is on Newsmax, giving you the real truth. Find Newsmax on cable, on streaming, or on your app for the really big news. Eric Bowling, The Balance, exposes the hidden dangers of inflation to your investments, your home, even your Social Security and Medicare. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. If your operator doesn't carry it, call them. Tell them you want it. Download the free Newsmax app on your phone and start watching now. Make the switch to Newsmax today.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
WJR Traffic and Weather first.
M59 westbound at Mound Road. There's an accident that blocks the left lane. 696 westbound at Mound Road. There's a left lane wreck there, and it's still gumming up the works right around that area. Slow traffic reported. And Hines Drive, yep, that's right, still closed because of flooding. Now, the WJR Weather Channel forecast.
North winds and cold numbers here today, and temperatures do try to return to average this weekend, but finishing up business with some light snows out there today. They're drifting on out of our forecast. Our high today 27, our low tonight 16. Partly cloudy Saturday 35, and upper 30s on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laurie. More on News Talk 760 WJR.
Live from downtown Detroit, this is the 2022 Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on 760 WJR. We need your help to continue to shelter over 130,000 Metro Detroiters every single year. Call 833-SAL-HOPE. That's 833-725-4673 to make your donation now. Once again, here's Mitch.
Those are the numbers you want to call, and we're trying to chase down that $100,000 match. If we put up 100, we get 100.
We can get it. We can do it.
Pretty good. Kevin O'Neill, do you have some names there of some people who've made some donations?
I certainly do, Mitch. Jamie in Berkeley, now the way she's doing it, she's doing the monthly, and that's the way I always did it too, or quarterly. You don't have to pay it all
That's how
at
everybody
once.
in radio does it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I'll just make a donation once a month and see how it works out.
It's called paycheck to paycheck as long as I have a job. Yeah, Jamie in Berkeley, $240. Thanks so much, Jamie. Sandra in Brighton, also $240. We heard from Margaret in Plymouth, $250. John in Plymouth, $100. $240 from a young lady in White Lake named Deborah. Thank you, Deborah. Nancy, Bloomfield Hills, $240. Pamela in Macomb said, would $150 help? Oh, God bless you. It sure will. Thank you, Pamela. Sue in Manchester, $75 from you. And another Sandra in Pleasant Ridge, $250.
Very nice.
If you're wondering why there's so many 240s there, if you're just tuning in, 240 actually feeds 10 people for nearly a month, and it's become a real popular giving level. There are also an incentive item here if you're a basketball fan. Steve Courtney, you want to detail that?
Yeah, earlier this morning, my usual Friday morning chat, Mitchell, with Magnum TI, Tom Izzo. The Spartans in a bit of a funk right now, having lost 5 of the last 6. They can get better real quick. I digress. Number 4, Purdue at the Breslin Center tomorrow. But in true Tom Izzo fashion, he was kind enough to donate 10 signed basketballs. One can be yours if you donate $2,500. I understand we've got a few left, Mitch. So give that number a ring, 833-SAL-HOPE, 833-725-4673.
That's right. And you don't have to stand in a handshake line to get one of those balls. Right? You just got to...
Is it possible to add, I should ask Jamie Winkler, who's here, is it possible to add some items on there that we could throw out there if people make a certain donation? Are we set up for that?
Sure, we could look into that.
Okay, so I think that we could certainly auction off a chance to, once we open up the studios again, a chance to come in and co-host with us on the Mitch Albom program in the afternoon. That's probably worth about $14, but we're going to set a high price.
What'd you say, a fee one for a day?
Where actually people would probably want to make money
That's
off
right.
of that. But I would say that if we could get $1,000 donation,
Yeah, we can do that.
Fair enough.
Someone make $1,000 donation, we'll book you for as soon as we can open up the studios and you can come co-host the program.
And make it, I was going to say, make it be known. You're not coming to an old, you're coming to a brand new
In fact,
state-of-the-art
depending on the
studio.
day that you arrive, you might have to show us how to get to
That's
that.
exactly right.
But nonetheless, bring your own no-dos.
So we'll throw that out there. If the people on the phones can make note of that, if whoever wants that, the first $1,000 bid. So here you're helping others. And if you listen to our show in the afternoon and have always wondered, how the hell did they get away with all that?
That's right.
You can come down and see yourself. Jamie Winkler, I mentioned, is Director of Salvation Army Eastern Michigan Division Harbor Light System. Jamie, you were mentioning a really interesting story about a driver earlier today. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, every single day of the year, we have 3 trucks that go out, and we travel 180 miles every day, making about 60 stops, serving meals in Detroit's most depressed areas. And there are oftentimes very key locations that we stop at that an overwhelming amount of people come out. In fact, today I was on the truck and we were at Eastern Market, and you see 10s and 20s and 30s and 40 people come, and they're desperately in need. In fact, this morning, a woman came and her hands were purple. They were so cold and she was shivering. And what a blessing it is that not only are we given a nutritious meal, but we're also passing out hats and gloves and blankets. So we hooked her up with that. We had a beautiful fleece sweater that she got. But yeah, one of the drivers was talking about one of the stops that over 80 people came at this one location, and during the winter we want to do as much as we can to keep people warm, keep their feet dry, give them whatever that it is that they need. And for many people, there's such a housing gap, and it's tough. The gas prices are tough. People are struggling to make ends meet. Right. And these are people just like you and me that have fallen upon hard times. And what a blessing it is that we can bridge people from the street right into our shelter. Every day we have about 200 shelter beds, and we make a difference.
And I think that's really important. You mentioned that. And sometimes people, because they hear bed and bread truck, and they think, well, this is just about funding a truck that gives out food. No, this is part of a system, okay? If people understand how homelessness works, first, one of the biggest problems with homelessness is making contact with the homeless person. Sometimes they're in alleys, sometimes they're under bridges, sometimes they're difficult to get to. They're reticent. They don't want to be helped because they're afraid somebody's going to hurt them, or they've had a bad experience someplace and they just, no, leave me alone. First is making contact. And one of the best ways you make contact is with the bed and bread truck. You say, hey, look, we've got some food. We've got some clothes for you here. We've got something hot to drink. Okay, well, I really need that. Now you can start a dialogue. You start talking, what's going on? Why are you in this situation? Well, I think this and this and that. Well, are you aware that there's a shelter that you can go to? No, I didn't know. Well, it's right over here. How far away is it? It's right here. We can help get you there. You can take me there? Yes, I can get you. Now you get them into shelter. When they're at the shelter, there are social workers who say to them, what's the problem? Well, I've been on drugs and I can't get on. Well, do you know we have a program here, a rehab program? Really? I can get into it? How much does it cost? Doesn't cost anything. It's free. Really? I can do that? Yeah, why don't you get into the program? And you get into the program. And next thing you know, a year later, they're graduating from the program, and then they're going into transitional housing. And so you've taken that person who was in an alley or was under a bridge, who couldn't be found in the first place, and all these different steps go along, and now they become back into society and a productive member, and one day end up giving out food on a Salvation Army truck. Because I've heard people during the course of the day that I've heard who said, I was down and out. I am a beneficiary of the Salvation Army, and now I'm giving money towards it. Oh, yeah. That's the circular loop. So it's not just about funding a truck or getting a sandwich to somebody. It's about the first step of the process towards getting them back into society.
Yeah, and we're given a message of hope. That's exactly what you're talking about. And we're helping bridge people and give them prompt access to care. The number one reason why people become homeless over the age of 50 is because of a health crisis in their life. And it causes them to lose everything. They become homeless, living out of a car. And the face of homelessness looks like us.
That's right.
It's people that have just out of no fault of their own, have gotten sick. Rent prices have gone through the roof. It's just very, very challenging now to make ends meet. And we just we want everyone to get behind the Bed and Bread program. It's very simple. Call 833-SAL-HOPE, which is 833-725-4673, or you can text BREAD to 24365. The Bed and Bread program's out 24 hours a day, 365, helping people. Why don't you get behind this program?
Unfortunately, it needs to be. We're trying to match $42,000, which would be part of a $100,000 Ford matching offer that expires in a half an hour. So we got a half an hour to get the additional $42,000. Yeah,
we can do it. We can do it.
You know, I always tell the story about when I first formed Say Detroit. It started because I spent a night at a homeless shelter to write about it during the Super Bowl. And while I was online, the guy in front of me turned around and he looked at me and he said, "Aren't you Mitch Albom?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he looked me up and down again and he said, "So what happened to you?" And, you know, after laughing at how bad my clothes must have been, I realized, hey, of course he's right. There, but for the grace of God go I. Why not me? And it could have been. So please call 833-SAL-HOPE or text BREAD to 24365, 760 WJR.
Got the winter blues? Riverbank Theater has the solution. Anita Newby stars in Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, a theatrical recap of the life of Billie Holiday. March 4th through April 3rd in Marine City. Visit riverbanktheater.com for tickets and information. Tune in at 3 p.m. every Saturday for the Veterans Perspective with host MVAA Director Zenata Adams. Presented by the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. Veterans Perspective, Saturdays at 3 on News Talk 760 WJR.
Crypto, NFTs, fine art? That's right. Fine art is also considered an alternative asset. The difference? Fine art has a track record, outpacing the S&P 500 for 25 years. And now a new platform called Masterworks lets anyone invest in artwork, and you don't have to be a millionaire to join. Go to masterworks.io and use promo code SURPRISED. Masterworks.io, promo code SURPRISED. Before deciding to invest, carefully review the important disclosures at masterworks.io/disclaimer.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think now, especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue, and Dynovite has helped tremendously in our house with that.
I just heard the Dynovite commercial so many times, I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
The Dynovite, the being at home, working with them, they all love it.
Me and Chewy are together 24/7.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
DINOVITE.com.
I'm Dr. Lee Beers with the American Academy of Pediatrics. As a mom, I know it's hard to parent during a pandemic. Kids are back in school, but you worry they'll be sent home because of a COVID exposure or just the sniffles. And you worry about your child getting sick from COVID and ending up in the hospital. What gives me peace of mind is the COVID vaccine. It's safe and effective against serious illness. And now, kids 5 and older can get the vaccine. Please call your
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Rich Dennison. President Biden today announcing he is nominating federal appeals court judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to fill the Supreme Court seat being vacated by retiring Justice Stephen Breyer.
As we watch freedom and liberty under attack abroad, I'm here to fulfill my responsibilities under the Constitution to preserve freedom and liberty here in the United States of America.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson would become the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court if she's confirmed by the Senate. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is expected to announce changes today in its guidance for wearing masks.
Doing away with most recommendations that people wear masks indoors, though it is not clear if the new guidelines will affect mask rules for air, bus, or train travel.
Fox's Eben Brown, America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
A couple of wrecks messing up midday traffic right now. M59 westbound at Mound Road. There's an accident in the left lane. Emergency crews are on the scene, but they're not quite done cleaning that one up yet. And then 696 westbound at Mound Road, left lane blocked by a wreck, and Hines Drive still closed due to flooding. WJR's weather first. You'll need plenty of windshield washer solvent today. Partly sunny skies, but this snow shower, snowflake, snow shower, whatever it is, will continue throughout the afternoon. We'll have a high today of 26. Tonight, cloudy and cold, a low of 16. But for Saturday and Sunday, mostly sunny skies, highs in the low to mid-30s. Ken Bergelski, WJR, traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
That dinner was delicious. What's next?
I'm thinking just the check.
Do you frequently have gas, bloating, diarrhea, stomach pain, or loose oily stools after eating? One or more of these symptoms could be a sign of exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, and it may be time to talk to your doctor.
If you have EPI, Creon may be right for you. Creon, pancrelipase, is an oral prescription medication that treats EPI. Creon replaces enzymes you may be missing to help you break down food properly.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Do not chew capsules or contents as this may cause mouth irritation. Tell your doctor if you have unusual or severe stomach pain, bloating, trouble passing stool, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, worsening of painful swollen joints, or allergic reactions. Other side effects may include changes in blood sugars, gas, dizziness, or sore throat and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Talk to your doctor about Creon, the #1 prescribed EPI treatment, and visit gocreon.com. That's GOCREON.com. Or call 1-800-633-9110.
Stacking Benjamins with Joe and his good friend OG not only has great financial insight, it's laid back with humor too.
Joe and his gang.
The technology platform for Vanguard is trash.
We see it on our platform all the time. People that love Vanguard can't stand using the website.
Sitting on hold for 3 hours to talk to somebody, that's an easy transaction you should be able to do online.
I mean, they have problems listening to people. They've only got 1 ear. Talking about Van Gogh, right?
How long have you been sitting on that one?
Stacking Benjamins. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
As a police officer, Mike Harris has protected our community for 26 years. As your state representative, Mike Harris will fight against government mandates that have devastated our economy and locked our kids out of their classrooms. Mike Harris is pro-life. He supports our right to bear arms and will defend, not defund our police. Vote for Mike Harris on March 1st. Paid for by Convention of States Political Fund with regulated funds, not authorized by any candidate.
We have Russia, Ukraine, and a Federal Reserve that's threatening to raise interest rates. All of this is wreaking havoc on the stock market. Hey, it's Ken Oswalla. Join Dean Barber and I as we break it all down. Join us Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. right here on WJR AM 760.
Welcome to the Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on WJR. $120 feeds 5 people for an entire month. To donate what you can, call 833-SAL-HOPE or text BREAD to 24365 now. Once again, here's Mitch.
All right, happy to say that we have chipped away at that 42,000 that we had left to go. We're now down to only 28,000 to go.
All right.
We've got a half an hour to get that done. If we can average about $1,000 a minute from various sources.
28 people with 1,000?
28 people with 1,000,
280 people with 10, whatever.
All right, stop the math.
That's where the math stopped.
The math.
Yeah, that was a dangerous
$100.
math.
I was getting there.
Down.
I was trying to keep it on the zero.
Very dangerous.
I was trying to keep it on the zero.
Don't do that.
It was not going to end well.
It wasn't going to end well.
No.
Next time I know we'd be paying
a disaster written all over.
That's right.
Again, the phone numbers are 833-SAL-HOPE, 833-725-4673, or text BREAD to 24365 to make a donation. Whatever you donate, every dollar you donate for the next half hour will be matched by the Ford Fund up to $28,000 more. So we hope you can do that.
You can do it.
I want to say hi to Roop Raj. Roop, of course, we know very well. He's a friend of our program. He's a friend to everybody here in Detroit. He's from Fox 2 News. He started his career apparently at age 14. That's what it says on my paper. Of course, I'm not sure what he was doing when he was 14.
Yeah, exactly what was going on with Rupert.
But cleaning the bathrooms doesn't count as a career. But anyhow, of course, you see him now as an anchor on Fox 2, and he's committed to telling stories and relationships in the community. He's been a strong supporter of the Salvation Army and always helped us out with our Say Detroit Radiothon as well. And he recently went out with the Bed and Bread trucks in February, which is now, to see the great work being done. Roop, how are you?
I'm doing well. For the record, I was doing a cable access show in Troy, Michigan, called Voices of Troy. when I was 14.
Wow.
And so that was the show. And I think I did clean up some of the bathroom areas.
Usually cable access is, that's kind of it. It's right there with Wayne's World. Had your voice changed yet at 14, or should it have been called Changing Voices of Troy?
It just changed about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So basically, when I was 14, I sounded like a little kid. I was, but anyways, this community has always meant so much to me. And like right now, I'm driving on speakerphone here through Troy, and I'm actually looking at City Hall where I did the show that you're talking about. But when I think about this community, and like every time I hear your voice with Ken's, it just brings back to me like, hey, look, when we go on and we say, look, this is important to people, we need people to give. This community, Troy, Metro Detroit, the city of Detroit, we give back. And the other day, I did have a chance to go out with a bed and bread truck, and I talked to a guy named Maurice who's been driving the truck there for many years, and he says that he feels like he gets the blessings every time he goes out to give bread and soup and clothes and other things to other people. He says, if I could just get a third of the blessings, I would have too many blessings. I wouldn't know what to do with them based on how many people he's made friends with on the route and the people who get help. So, yeah, just doing that story 2 days ago, it was freezing cold. I go grab my gloves from the car as I'm waiting for the bed and bread truck, waiting for my camera person, and I just kind of sat there like I was about to complain for the second thing. God, it's so cold out here. When's the truck coming so we can do our story? And, you catch yourself going, are you kidding me? This is what people are living through right now, and that's why this truck is so important.
Yeah. I don't think people realize, and we're blessed that we don't have to realize it, because most of us get to sleep in a bed and in a warm house, and so it's easy not to think about these things. But just when you heard Jamie talking about it, or you heard Roop talking about it, or some of these people were out in the trucks, and they say when the truck pulls up to a particular area and there's 30 or 40 or 60 or, as Jamie said, 80 people. These are not people who are like coming out of their houses and saying, "Oh, I'll drive my Mercedes down and meet the truck and get a free meal,
get a bite."
These are people who 80 who managed to get to the truck. How many more people are out there that just couldn't get there, or couldn't walk there, or was too cold, or they were too far away from where it was? So if you've got 80 people in the city of Detroit lining up for a truck that is giving out food, then we have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we may be blessed not to have to look at it all the time, but it is there nonetheless. And as someone who has looked at it a lot and sees it a lot, and Roop, you're the same way, you can't get it out of your head once you realize this is going on. And I just wish there was a way that we could convey to everybody in the audience, just see it once, take one ride on this truck and see how 80 Americans in a major city like Detroit have to line up to get free food to have something to eat from a truck. And you would. I think everybody would help if they saw that.
I wanted to just add one thing that I know. I didn't realize this until the other day, and I've been covering the Bed and Bread program for a while in Salvation Army. But I was talking to a gentleman from Salvation Army, and he said, "Do you know the road to homelessness?" I don't know what people think. Every person has a story as to how they got there. It's not always homeless. It's people who are food insecure or temporarily displaced. But a lot of times it's health issues, Mitch.
Yep.
It's health issues. So if you have a health issue and all of a sudden you can't afford, you lose your job, and now you can't afford rent, so you're living in your car. My health issue will get better soon, and it doesn't. And now you're on the streets with a health issue that really kind of grounded you from being able to do anything. And that just broke my heart. But to put the heart back together, you do something about it, right? You got to pick up the phone and make a call, or go to the website, or text, all the Salvation Army, and get this going. Let's get some more dollars in the coffers.
Yeah. And as I said when we started, if you're frustrated right now at the meanness of the world that we're seeing over in Eastern Europe, counter it with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's not much we can do just sitting here right now about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. There's very little except look at it and weep and wring your hands together. But there is something you can do to counter it. Mm-hmm. Meanness and evil is countered by good and kindness. And here's how you can show good and kindness. Just make a donation of any size. There's no minimum to this.
Right.
833-SAL-HOPE, or text the word bread to 24365. 833-SALHOPE if you'd like to dial with letters, or 833-725-4673 if the more traditionalists of you like to use digits. Roop, always good to hear from you. I think since you're right near there, you should just park your car in that city hall, go back in, and just do a half-hour public access.
Encore.
Say, hi, everybody. My voice has changed. I'm Roop Raj.
Maybe need a bathroom clean. I'll go check out.
Yeah, maybe they need a bathroom clean. Thanks for coming on, Roop, and thanks for all you do for the community.
That's right. You know, Mitch, what would amaze me when I was on the truck, not only was the food we were giving out the only food for an individual for that entire day, for some of those people, that was the food for their family for that day. I couldn't believe that. It just, talk about an eye-opener. You look at these folks and say, my God, this is what they're going to have. So when the fella came back and he said, could I get one extra sandwich, for my dad? I go, oh my God,
Right.
Yes. It's amazing.
Well, if the mother is homeless, the children are homeless.
Sure.
If the father is homeless, frequently the children can be homeless, or the brother, or the uncle. So, yes, it's a family thing, and you're right, Kevin, to point that out. You've got a few more names to read off for us?
Sure, we certainly do, Mitch. Valerie in Canton, thank you, Valerie. $240 from her. Vicky from Belleville said, will $20 help? God bless you. Yes,
of course,
it certainly
right.
will.
And with the match, 20 turns to 40.
It certainly will, yeah.
Think double on these.
Thank you,
Nice
Vicky.
math, Kenny.
Yeah, don't think that that any amount doesn't help. It certainly does. David and Barbara Peterson, they said $120 from each of them, $240 then for that couple from Beverly Hills. Kathleen in Lakeville, $240 from you. Thank you, Kathleen. Carol in Walled Lake, a $150 donation. We appreciate that. William of Waterford. It sounds like royalty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He is
Sir William.
Sir William
of
of Waterford. $120. Thank you, William. Roy Shields. Roy in Sterling Heights. Thank you, Roy. $240 will certainly help. Barbara in Washington, Michigan. $240. And don't forget Matt in Plymouth, $1,000. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, so Matt, if Matt wants to, I don't know, does he do that to co-host the show, or is that just $1,000 on his own?
It doesn't say that.
Well, he'll get a choice.
Anybody know if he did that to co-host the show?
Yeah, Matt.
We should ask somebody from the Meridian phone bank. Well, if he didn't, then that's still up there.
We'll
For $1,000,
Still
you
up
can
for
come
grabs.
co-host the Mitch Albom program with all of us here live in the studio once we open the studios back up for a $1,000 donation. Again, thanks to the folks at the Meridian Phone Bank, powered by Bullseye. Call that number and make it happen. 833-SAL-HOPE or text BREAD to 24365. Back with more after this.
61-year-old Jackie sums up her encounter with the Salvation Army this way.
It was a blessing. That's how I would put it. It was a blessing.
Jackie found herself homeless after the massive flooding last summer. In an instant, her life changed forever.
A few years back, I had a job. I was working. Got sick, moved in with my son. Was trying to move, looking at places. And when June hit this past summer, he had a two-bedroom apartment in the basement, and the water came in.
She stayed at a hotel temporarily, but when she could no longer afford to live in a hotel and could not find an apartment, she ended up at the Salvation Army Booth Services Shelter for Women and Children. She says she was treated with respect, kindness, and compassion.
They are fantastic. I've never met a bunch of people that was more caring, more understanding.
Just 2 weeks ago, Jackie moved into her new apartment near her son and her doctors. And for those who are listening today, Jackie has this message.
You might not think it, but sometimes you see homeless people, you think the worst, and you shouldn't think that. All of them are not the same. I would ask you to give, keep the doors open. Very thankful. I'm very thankful that I was able to find Salvation Army.
Marie Osborne, WJR.
You are an electric vehicle. It's true. Electricity powers your heart. Want to feel your heartbeat faster? Drive an electric car. Made by Nissan, a company whose EVs have gone 5 billion miles. Built for every driveway, every highway, and every speedway. And where the loudest sound is the beat of your electric heart. Nissan. Electric cars for electric drivers. 5 billion miles driven by Leaf owners globally since 2010.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer? A big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data in unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Looking for a great deal on blinds, shades, and shutters? Save 50% off any order during Blindster.com's President's Day sale. Blindster offers custom wood and faux wood blinds, roller shades, cellular shades, even custom plantation shutters, and they're all 50% off for a limited time. Blindster.com.
WJR traffic and weather first.
Moving around town this afternoon is not too bad. 12 Mile Road, though, is closed westbound between Stevenson Highway and Dartmouth Street. Some major construction going on there, which won't be done until later this November. Also, the exit ramps off 12 Mile to I-75 are closed today. And remember, I-75 will be completely shut down from the Ruther Freeway all the way to Square Lake Road on the north, beginning at 11 tonight till 5 a.m. Monday morning. A little afternoon and overnight and weekend construction. Now, the WJR Weather Channel forecast.
Well, finishing up business with the snow today after the snows last night dumped some 2 to 4 inch totals across the area. All the winter weather alerts are gone, and our high today 27 degrees. Low tonight 16, and then we do head uphill closer to average this weekend in the mid-30s tomorrow, upper 30s Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laurie, more on News Talk 760 WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Haiti was already the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but earthquakes, hurricanes, and COVID have made life even more difficult for families. You can help rebuild Haiti with Compassion International by texting the word radio to 97646.
Welcome back to the 35th Annual Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on WJR. Call 833-SAL-HOPE to make your donation now, or visit salmish.org and be one of the people keeping Sal Army's Bed and Bread trucks traveling 180 miles every single day to serve meals in Metro Detroit's most oppressed areas. Now, once again, here's Mitch.
All right, we continue to try to march towards that $28,000 match.
Need the match.
Hopefully, we got about
13 minutes left.
Yeah,
no, 11 minutes left. I got a bad clock, but I'll take 2 minutes.
11 minutes left to match that 28,000. If we get the 28,000, we get another 28,000 to help the neediest here in Detroit.
2 for 1.
833-SAL-HOPE on the phones, or text the word bread to 24365.
You know what, Mitch? Obviously, throughout the day, it's been discussed how many people are in need. Well, let me introduce this as some pretty big evidence. 18,720 gallons of soup each and every year, 124,000 loaves of bread, 206,000 pounds of deli meat, 182,000 hot dogs. That's what the Salvation Army goes through a year. Now, keep in mind, there's inflation going on right now. There's supply chain issues. So all of these items are a little bit more expensive. So that's where the dollars are needed, maybe now more than ever.
Right.
Got to do it.
Whatever percentage inflation is taken out of that stuff is exactly how much more the Salvation Army needs than it needed last year to do the same thing that it did last year, and it needed more than last year. One guy who knows this, I think he's on the phone with us right now, was there also way back at the beginning with Kevin. It's just all we're doing is reuniting Kevin's old team, basically. It's Big Al Muscovito.
Big Al! Yeah.
So good to hear your guys' voices. You are sounding spectacular. The messaging is great. Yeah, thanks, Mitch, for having me on. I started with Dick Burton on the Radiothon, as Kevin probably did, I started in 1992, but it had already been going on. But that's when the first year he raised $15,000, and everybody was happy.
Yeah, everybody was happy. Well, that's the problem with charity. Do a little, and everybody expects a little bit more. Do a little bit more, and everybody expects a lot. But that's okay. It's in the world of charity. That's excellent. Yeah, Kevin actually beat you by a couple of years, I guess, because Kevin was there in 1990.
He greeted you when you came.
So when Big Al joined the gang in 1992, was he do you have a hazing thing on the Dick Curtin show?
Yeah, he still bears the scars from that.
You woke him up early in the morning in the house, put his hand in warm water, and put shaving cream in his bed.
Well, thank God for outpatient counseling.
It's paid off, eh, Big Al?
I'm doing okay. It's great. You guys are great. I know, it's so funny when you guys say text bread 24365, text the word bread. I always think of Kevin because Kevin and I agree that the greatest singing group ever was Bread.
Oh my God. What a depressing life you must have led in high school.
Go ahead, Kev. Just say it right now. You had dinner with David Gates.
1,000
I broke bread with David Gates.
Oh my goodness. That's what
I took a blind date to see Bread, and I think she wished she had just been deaf.
Well, what do they do? Like after they do "if" and "I want to make it with you" and everything, then they go, "Now we want to slow it down a little." Right? Al, you have seen the band Bread aside, you have seen this Radiothon over the years and the impact that it has had with Dick Burton for all of that. What did you observe in terms of the difference that it actually made through the year? The big day and the day itself, there's a lot of fanfare and a lot of money raising, but then comes tomorrow, and then comes the next day, and all the rest. And talk to our audience about where the money goes and how it goes into effect.
Well, the one thing that's so great about the program, the Bed and Bread program, is it goes directly to the streets. It is going directly into making sure that those trucks can continue to roll, that they can still provide the nights of sleep. And the wonderful thing is, and what I do is, and it's easier for folks to do, is if you donate a little bit per month, you can get to that $240 mark. You donate $10 a month or $20 a month, whatever you can do. But what it does is throughout the whole year, we're talking, you mentioned today's the big day, but like Dick always said, he'd be, walking around in July going, you know what, I know I'm helping somebody today.
Yeah, right.
So it kicks off a whole year long of giving back to the community. So, and I'll tell you, to a person, and I think, Kevin, you and I rode on the truck together.
Yes, Al, you and I were on together, and I'll tell you what, I thought it was kind of bad taste, though, when you put out that tip jar. I just didn't think that was a really good idea.
It didn't go over real well, or me, taking a cup of soup on my own. But that's, you can only prevent certain things. But no, and Kevin can attest to this. The people that come up to the truck, we have this vision of what is a person who would have to come up to a truck. It's not always who you think it is. And I know you've talked about this, Mitch, and the work that you do, that it's no fault of a lot of people of their lives, history has taken a turn, and they need help. And these folks are so thankful, and they're thanking us. But it's so uplifting. And I tell you, with all the distractions going on in the world today, I mean, you wake up in the morning, you've got, the whole Russian thing going on, you've got COVID. Detroiters never are distracted from helping the Salvation Army. Every year they come through over and over. And I know that the main thing I'm supposed to do is always remind folks like you are doing to call 833-SAL-HOPE or 833-725-4673 and donate today. Do it a little bit per month. It's easy to do. So
fantastic, Al, and it helps that. It helps that you were there and you can share this with everybody and all the great work that's been done over the years. It's really remarkable to have something that has gone on for 32 years now.
36.
This is the
35th.
36 years. I'm sorry. You're only 32 on it. Yeah, you came in, Johnny come lately as well. All right.
Yeah, but it started in a small studio, and I remember the gathering of people were only in a conference room, and then of course it's grown to this large event, and but the need has always been there, and the need doesn't seem to go away, and what never goes away is the incredible charitable folks of metropolitan Detroit area. It's astounding. I hear you guys read the numbers of donations, and God, the amount of money that people donate, it's breathtaking. And it's
especially given the difficulties that everybody's having now. And, this will be a logical time for people to pull back and hold back. But we have so much experience with this, with our Say Detroit Radiothons, that I know this to be true. Detroiters and Michiganders get the most generous when things are the toughest.
Yeah.
It is a mark of the people and why we love our state and the people that we live amongst, that when things get really hard, they think, you know what, this is hard for me, but how hard must it be for somebody else?
Somebody's got it worse.
Yeah, somebody's got it worse. And sometimes we give to make ourselves feel better against the bad stuff that we're facing, and that's not how everybody does things. There are parts of the world where they just take to make themselves feel better. Michigan's a place where we give to make ourselves feel better and to make others feel better. So you can do it now. In fact, let me bring you up to date after I give you the numbers on where we are. I've got a tote board announcement to make before we break.
Very exciting.
833-SAL-HOPE is the phone number. Text the word bread to 24365, or you can go online at salmish.org. Big Al, thanks for coming on. Listen alongside as I tell you where we are here on this tote board. I don't know if we're doing drum rolls here. We got any sound effects?
There you go.
Yeah?
Ask and you shall receive.
Okay. There's a timpani roll. And as of just shy of 3 o'clock, $817,866.
Nice.
So we successfully matched that $28,000, therefore jumping from the 6s to the 8s.
There you go.
That's great, folks. We're gonna keep it going. We want to break that $1 million mark. 817,866 as of right now. Coming up, we're going to get I think another match from Pat Moran Chevrolet. We're going to hear about that coming up in a minute here, and we'll continue to try to both entertain and inform you.
J.K. Simmons coming on next hour?
Is J.K. coming on?
Yeah, next hour.
Okay, J.K.
Yeah.
Oscar nominated.
And Fred Mertz impersonator.
Yeah. Well, no, the real Fred Mertz impersonator is with us.
He doesn't hold a candle to me.
There you go. Back with more here on the Salvation Army Radiothon Bed and Bread Club. Help us out at 833-SAL-HOPE or text bread to 24365.
Great Lakes Post empowers and employs individuals with autism and special needs to cover the spectrum of sports and entertainment in America. Great Lakes Post is proudly made possible by the generous support of Ally Financial and Artisan Tile.
This is Anthony Ianni, National Sports Correspondent for Great Lakes Post. There was one thing that really got me excited from this past weekend, and that's the future of the Detroit Pistons. Not only does the future look bright for the Pistons, but they also have a franchise player that can lead to great things down the road.
Visit GreatLakesPost.com for more info and full-length interviews.
The Spartans play here. 760 WJR.
Did you know something as simple as using a white mug for your cup of coffee makes pouring easier and avoids spills? Contrast is just one important thing for someone with any degree of vision loss to know. Braille Institute of America has experts who can help you for free. Attend classes and learn new ways to stay independent and get back to the life you love. All services are free. If you have any form of vision loss, let us help. Call 1-800-BRAILLE to get started today. That's 1-800-272-4553.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR. Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
Historic announcements on two fronts. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just a short time ago at the White House,
my nominee for the United States Supreme Court is Judge Ketanji Jackson.
President Biden keeping his pledge to nominate the court's first black woman.
She cares about making sure that our democracy works for the American people. She listens. She looks people in the eye, lawyers, defendants, victims, and families. And she strives to ensure that everyone understands why she made a decision.
Also noting her brother and uncles were police officers, the Fraternal Order of Police endorsing the choice. But one Republican senator already expressing concern, even though Lindsey Graham was one of 3 Republicans who voted to confirm Jackson for her current seat on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. Earlier, NATO making history, mobilizing its rapid response force for the first time. That includes thousands of U.S. troops, but it's a defensive move and only deploying forces to member countries, which does not include Ukraine.
NATO just issued one of its strongest statements since its founding. Quote, the world will hold Russia as well as Belarus accountable for their actions. No one should be fooled by the Russian government's barrage of lies.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. In Ukraine, there is strong resistance to the Russian invasion.
People are wanting to go voluntarily to the army
Also, people are receiving weapons.
Alexei Goncharenko, a member of Ukraine's parliament, telling Fox News more than 20,000 automatic rifles were given out just in one day in Kiev, people ready to defend their homes and the capital. Russia's president signaling he may be willing to hold talks with Ukraine's president, but only if the Ukrainians stop fighting first. The Ukrainian leader's whereabouts being kept secret amid concern regime change may be the goal, but he did speak with President Biden today. America is listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Sponsored this afternoon by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 34 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan, 1-800-241-3131, or visit cremationmichigan.com. WJR's Traffic First. This is up near Flint, Holly Township, 75 northbound, approaching Saginaw Road. This is exit 106. 2 lanes are blocked by a wreck, and traffic is backed up all the way to Grange Hall Road. Keep an eye out for that. And then still, Hines Drive closed by flooding, and remember, 75 will be shut down from the Ruther up to Square Lake Road, north and southbound, from 11 tonight until 5. WJR's Weather First, sponsored by Native Stem Cell. Native Stem Cell has the best option for stem cell treatment. They are the most experienced of any practitioner in Michigan. They have a board-certified orthopedic surgeon expertly performing this procedure. Resolved to be the best you in 2022. Visit nativestemcell.com. WJR's Weather First, partly sunny skies. Hopefully these snow showers should dissipate after 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have a high today of 26 degrees. Cloudy and cold tonight, low of 16. And then for the weekend, partly sunny skies and a little warmer, highs in the low to mid-30s. Ken Rogulski, WJR, Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Looking for a great deal on blinds, shades, and shutters? Save 50% off any order during Blindster.com's President's Day sale. Blindster offers custom wood and faux wood blinds, roller shades, cellular shades, even custom plantation shutters. And they're all 50% off for a limited time. Blindster.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, my name's Joe Cordell. Sometimes in divorce, courts require the higher earner to pay to the other party what's called spousal support or alimony. Usually this order can be modified in certain circumstances, but such modifications are often complicated and are best entrusted to attorneys that are well acquainted with such matters. At Cordell & Cordell, that's our business. Remember, you're not alone.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
This is the 35th Annual Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on 760 WJR. With 3 ways to donate now. Visit salmish.org. Text BREAD to 24365 or call 833-SAL-HOPE and keep the bed and bread trucks rolling. Now with more. here's Mitch Albom.
All right. We are happy that we achieved what we did last hour.
Yes.
But
Well done.
as with hunger,
Everybody.
it doesn't stop. And so we got to consider the slate wiped clean, and we got to start over again for this next hour. We're going to be here one more hour, and I'd really love to see if we can knock that number way up high.
Let's do it.
And by the way, to help goose that, a matching donation being put forth by Pat Moran Chevrolet, and on the line with us right now is Pat Moran, who's the owner, longtime supporter of the Salvation Army's Bed and Bread Club Radiothon, and he's got an announcement to make. Hi, Pat.
Hello, Mitch. How are you?
We're good. We're good.
Well, that's good. How are we doing? What do we got so far?
So far, we are over $800,000 at $817,866. Good people of Michigan coming through as they always do, but can always use a little bit of motivation. I understand you've got a little bit of it yourself.
You know, I do. On behalf of all the employees in the Moran organization, Moran Chevrolet, Moran Buick GMC, Moran Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep, and all of our affiliated body shops, Debbie Moran and myself would like to donate $35,000, and let's have a match.
Wow. Great. Thank you, Pat. There you go.
Let's have a match. I like that. It's right out of Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, there you go. I'd like to get that to about 9:17 in this next hour. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be my goal too. I'd love to see if we could do 100,000 in this hour. So if you've just put forth 35,000 for a match, and if we can get that 35,000 match in this hour, that'll get us to 70. And then if we can just find 35 someplace else, we're there, right?
Simple. We are. I love it.
Yeah.
The best thing about this, Mitch, is it's easy. I mean, they can call it in, they can text it in, they can go online. It couldn't be any easier to give a few bucks. Whether they give $5, $10, $1, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we get some love from the beautiful people of Michigan and get some contributions in there and keep adding to the pot.
Yeah, I like that thought process. It couldn't be any easier to give, and really it couldn't be much harder for the people you're helping out. When you don't have a place to live and you don't have food to eat, what other problems are bigger than that? I mean, you're talking about the basic things. And, listen, I help raise money for Haiti all the time, and I'm able to say in Haiti, well, look, help people have clean water, help people eat. It's the second poorest country in the world. So there's justification for that. But we are not the second poorest country in the world. We are one of the richest countries in the world, if not the richest country in the world. And yet, 30 minutes from pretty much everybody who's listening to us, you can find people who are living outside in boxes, in alleys, behind dumpsters, who are relying on the Bed and Bread Club and the trucks that go out there sometimes for the only meal that they get that day. In America.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
In America.
Right here. Wow. And you know what's really scary is that, 30 years ago when we started working with Dick on this program, we always thought, okay, we're going to get this thing nailed and we're going to make a difference. And the issue is that the need never goes away. It's just constant. And it might be you tomorrow, it might be me on Wednesday, but everybody can go through it. It just happens.
That's right.
It seems odd that we can't help them. We got to help them.
You know what, Pat, we'll point out, congratulations and thank you to the Moran Automotive Group, because let's face it, it's been kind of an upside-down year for the automotive industry with chip shortages and what have you. So your continued presence with the Bed and Bread Club is certainly appreciated.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, I don't think there's anything we can do except pitch in and try to help, because the need's not going away. We gotta do what we can.
Right. Well, that's all any of us can do, and thank you for that, Pat, and thanks for the challenge. We really appreciate it. Nice to hear from Pat Moran. $35,000. Wow. So let's put that out there. $35,000. Let's see if we can't do it. And remember, you've heard us say this before, but it's worth saying again. If you're just tuning in, you probably heard at the top of the hour news reports from Russia and Ukraine, and the things are going on there. It's horrific. It's horrific. People who are old enough to remember World War II are probably shaking their heads saying, I never thought that I would see something like this happening again in my lifetime, that there would be a ground attack on one nation on another on the European continent. And it's frightening, and it can make you feel paralyzed, and it can make you feel like how small we are in this world. But I have found that the best way out of feeling paralyzed, feeling depressed, or feeling powerless is to do something small to help somebody else. And trust me, if you make this donation, if you just pick up the phone and call 833-SAL-HOPE or text the word bread to 24365, after you do it, or if you get somebody, try to make the phone call, because you make a human contact and you talk to somebody and they say, yes, I'd like to make a donation. Oh, great, thanks so much. We help. And you actually say the words, I want to give, whatever it is, $5, $500, $5,000, I want to give. When you say that, you change, because you have gone from thinking about something to doing something. You have gone from feeling a certain way, powerless, to taking control and feeling like I just did something. And when I promise you, when you hang up that phone, you will feel better about yourself and the world that we find ourselves in today. Even if it's a $5 donation, whatever, you will feel better. Mm-hmm. So make that call if you're suffering like a lot of us are from this sort of ennui of like, wow, look at where the world may be heading and what are we going to do about it? Do something about it right here. Help your fellow Detroiters, 833-SAL-HOPE, or text BREAD to 24365. On the web, salmish.org. Kevin, got any more names for us?
Certainly do. It's Lawrence in Troy. Thank you, Lawrence. $500. That's certainly appreciated. Marilyn, on behalf of Ted. Sterling Heights, $240. Thanks, Marilyn. We have Eileen. Now, this is great. Eileen called and said, would $10 help?
Sure.
And that's wonderful. That's wonderful, Eileen. Thank you so much. Renata in Romeo, $250. Thank you, Renata. Stella, Madison Heights, $50 from Stella. We got Mark in Clinton Township wanting to pitch in $100. Gladys in Troy, $100 from her. Hilda in Clinton Township says make it $240 for her. Mike in Lenox, Michigan, $60. Certainly that'll help, Mike. Thank you. Pat in Lake Orion, that's $500. $500 from Pat. Thanks, you, Pat. Yeah. Catherine in Westland says add $100 to the pot. Barbara in Dearborn, $255, and make it $120 from Catherine in Canton. And Tom in Beverly Hills, Tom and Meg, the Gordy family, said let's make it $1,000. Good for you.
Wow.
Guys.
Thank you so much.
You'll be hosting our show.
We might be in there.
$2,000, you can take it over. Again, $120 helps feed 5 people for nearly a month. Think about it. If I've spent $120 at the movies.
Yeah.
And the movie wasn't even that good.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. You go out, you take 4 people to the movies, and the tickets are like $12, $14, and then you start in with the popcorn and a couple treats and get a pizza or something. You're at $120.
Yeah.
And you saw like The Eternals, which was terrible.
Dude, where's my car?
Well, Dude, Where's My Car? You're watching on TV, Kenny. I tried to pick a reference from this century.
You actually paid money to see that.
Theater of the mind. Theater of mind. Come on.
Yeah, and then you go see Psycho, that black and white film.
What's Janet Leigh gonna do?
Nobody's mentioned Dude, Where's My Car in how long?
Yeah. That's
what we specialize in here,
with Honey, I Shrunk the Kid.
833-SAL-HOPE or tax bread to 24365. You know, My Fair Lady, I hear, is a killer of a film. It's new. It's coming out. We'll take a break and come back with more. Please be generous. Please help out those in need at the 36th Annual Bed and Bread Club Radiothon.
Monique Green says she owes a lot to the folks over at the Salvation Army who helped her get back on her feet. Monique grew up in a 2-family household, but her life changed after her parents split when she was 10.
We was from place to place. We was from house to house after everything happened. But our dad was still in our lives, but, he was with another woman. But, we had to sit and deal with that. It was kind of heartbreaking.
Monique said after that, her mom struggled to support the family and then moved around a lot, and it became stressful.
My mom was from house to house and then, from shelter to shelter. I kind of went into the streets because I felt like it wasn't no love, no nothing. I just felt like I was alone.
At 16, Monique was pregnant and scared. She ended up having 3 children and gave up custody to relatives. She ended up having 3 more children and then turned to drugs and alcohol to cope with life. But after praying for help to get off the streets, Monique found herself at the Salvation Army Booth Services Shelter for Women and Children in March of last year after she found there was an opening. She says she owes a lot to her caseworker, Miss Tanya Arrington.
When I got there, Miss Arrington, she was so nice. She was about her business. She didn't play. She's going to tell you what it is, even if you don't want to hear it.
Monique said Miss Arrington helped her get permanent housing, and in July of last year, Monique moved to her very first home, and the Salvation Army even helped furnish that home. Monique has a job now and can take care of her responsibilities, and she says she owes it to God in one place.
Salvation Army is a good place. Yes. You had the people that was working there, so, you know, they was older women, but they understand. They weren't in our shoes, but they understand what we was going through.
Know your risk factor for heart attack and stroke. Tune in Sundays at 3 to News Talk 760 WJR to hear about the latest diagnostic technology from Dr. Brian Collender.
Paul W. here. Everyone has heard about the PPP program and the other types of COVID relief from last year. But did you know there's one grant it's not too late to get? It's called the Employee Retention Tax Credit, ERC for short. ERC is like a rebate from the government to reimburse business owners for some of their payroll costs during the pandemic. Eligible business owners can get up to $26,000 per employee. This money doesn't have to be paid back. There's no rule on how it's spent. If you own a business with at least 5 W-2 employees, I recommend you call our friends at AR Law to see if you qualify. That's AYAR Law, AR Law. Their number is 800-513-5315, 800-513-5315. The ERC program has been changed, so even if someone told you that you don't qualify or that you won't get much back, you should still call AR Law, AYAR. The number again, 800-513-5315.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This is up near Flint, Holly Township, 75 northbound approaching Saginaw Road, exit 106. 2 lanes are blocked by a wreck, and it's pretty thick in the area. Traffic backed up to Grange Hall Road. And US 23 southbound at Grand Blanc Road, there's a wreck there. Traffic clogged back to Hill Road. WJR's Traffic First, sponsored by Foundation Solutions 360. Winter can be rough. Expect wet basements and crawl spaces or cracks in your foundation as the temperatures change. Foundation Solutions 360 is #1 in foundation and crawl space repair and basement waterproofing. To stay dry, visit FoundationSolutions360.com. That's FoundationSolutions360.com. Now, the WJR Weather Channel forecast.
Well, cold Friday for us. We're finishing up business with the snows here in Detroit after dumping 2 to 4 inch snowfall totals last night. The back edge of the snow is moving on out of our forecast here today. Northwest winds and cold today. 27 degrees this afternoon. Low tonight 16. We do head uphill closer to average this weekend with some sunshine, mid-30s tomorrow and upper 30s Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laurie, and more on News Talk 760 WJR.
This report is sponsored by the Ad Council. Attention thrifters. Those awesome finds you get at Goodwill are even awesomer than you realize. Because as a nonprofit, Goodwill uses your purchases to fund job training and more in our neighborhoods. Learn more at goodwill.org. Sponsored by the Ad Council.
You've got the 2022 Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon. It's the charity drive that shelters more than 77,000 Metro Detroiters every year. Call and donate right now, 833-SAL-HOPE, or text BREAD to 24365. Now back to more with Mitch Albom.
Those are the numbers. Again, we're in a $35,000 match. If we can raise $35,000, we'll get an extra $35,000 thanks to Pat Moran Chevrolet. Jamie Winkler, the director of the Salvation Army Eastern Michigan Division Harbor Light System, who's been with us since we started here. You've got a great story to share with us, please.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's such a shortage of nurses right now, and with the pandemic, everyone's been asked to do so much more. And one of the families that we helped, Letitia, she's a nursing assistant, and she was actually working 2 different jobs, and she got herself working 10 days in a row doing 12-hour shifts at night. Wow. And after 10 days, she had made the dinner. She was exhausted and went to sleep, and her apartment caught on fire. And she woke up, and luckily everyone was okay. And she came to the Salvation Army needing shelter and needing help. She almost lost everything, and so the Salvation Army helped her. And she was with us for quite a while. It took a little while for her to find an apartment, but she has moved out and has got stable housing. And very, very grateful for the hard work of the Salvation Army. She and her daughters.
But that's a classic story. Here's a woman doesn't fit the stereotype of poverty of, well, they're just not working, or maybe they've got mental issues, whatever. It's quite the opposite. She was working so much that she fell asleep, had a tragedy happen, which can happen to any one of us, and then suddenly found herself homeless. And that happens to people all the time.
It does. And we hear so many stories of hardworking people that have got themselves in an unexpected situation. And certainly COVID has put an added stress on the working force and even the homeless individuals.
Yeah, well, that expression there, "but for the grace of God go I," is not only always true, but it's particularly true in these kinds of situations of homelessness. We've mentioned that's an example where you can suddenly have a fire and you didn't have the insurance, whatever, boom, you're out on the street. Or I've seen happen with work-related injuries. It's very common. You have a work-related injury, you can't work anymore. Your case goes to court and you're fighting forever with workman's comp. And meanwhile, you can't work. You can't work, you can't pay your rent, you lose your home, suddenly you're homeless again. These aren't people who deserved it. It's an accident that can happen at work. You get sick with something that your insurance doesn't cover. The premiums don't cover it. You need hospitalization. Because you're sick, you can't go to work. They're not putting up with it, and then you get fired from your job. Yeah, you've got a grievance, but meanwhile, it's going to take forever to get that, and you're now out because you can't pay your rent. These are three examples of people who have done nothing wrong and everything right, and yet circumstances come along, and suddenly you find yourself without a home and in need of food help. And so sometimes when people, they get a little haughty about giving to charities, like, well, why don't people just help themselves? Well, there's three examples of people who are doing everything to help themselves, and still things happen, and we need to be compassionate to people.
You never know, Mitch. Every morning you wake up, what's that day got in store for you? Who knows?
That's right. We're all a few inches away from that. So you can help make that difference at 833-SAL-HOPE. That's 833-725-4673, or text the word bread to 24365. And again, $120 feeds 5 people for nearly a month. $240 feeds 10 people for nearly a month. And you can receive a limited edition Bed and Bread Club Radiothon insulated lunch tote as a thank you at that level for $240, and for $255, just $15 more. An extra lunch tote will be donated for someone in need. So that'd be nice. You get one, but then you give one for an extra $15. That's at the $255 mark.
And they also got an auction item for this, I guess this hour, next hour, Buddy's Pizza for a year.
Wow.
Win yourself a monthly supply of the award-winning Buddy Style Pizza for the entire year, including 1/8 square, 2 topping pizzas, and a month for 12 months.
Wow.
And do that at Radiothon.
Does it come with a gym membership?
Yeah.
Planet Fitness.
I want to say hello to a friend of ours. I haven't talked to her in a while. Nicole Curtis, of course, is a renowned designer and host of The Rehab Attic on HGTV and the DIY Network. She's an active member of the community, supporter for a long time of the Salvation Army. Nicole Curtis, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'll take this.
Yeah.
Running right now.
Yeah, a lot of applause. Where am I talking to you from? Are you here, Minneapolis? Where?
No, we just sold our last house in Minneapolis. So very cool. Especially his birthday. My little favorite person that we lost to neuroblastoma 5 years ago. So it's very cool. I'm doing this in her honor. Very special. People can bid on a chance to meet our team for a house consult. If you're in Detroit, we'll probably just end up coming to your house, to be honest, because we're not so tech savvy. So doing a Zoom thing sounds pretty freaky to us. But, a great, and what you guys do is a growing need, unfortunately, with everything going on.
All right, so I'm going to clear this up. Your phone's kind of cutting in and out a little bit, so people probably heard.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's anything you can do about it, but I'm going to repeat what it was that you offered. So basically, Nicole Curtis and her team will come to your house and do a 30-minute house consult on how to rehab your home and make it look like the homes that she does in the TV program. And you can bid on this at radiothonauction.org. And the auction's open through 7 o'clock on Monday, so go out there and make a bid on this. That's pretty good stuff. People fight like crazy to get Nicole Curtis to come out and take a look at your house, and here she'll come do it for a donation. That's pretty fantastic. Nicole, you have seen through all because you rehab houses and you're in neighborhoods in a lot of places where there are people who are homeless. You've seen the need in our city and in other cities for what the Salvation Army does. Can you speak to some of the things that you've seen out in the streets over the years?
No, again, I heard you guys talk about people don't put themselves in this situation. These things occur. And we've all been in those situations where, I have been, I have like this crazy little story, but, it's all a matter of acceptance and being gracious and really knowing that there is a need for this and whatever you can do to help people out. But until you've been in that situation, thank God that you aren't, and give what you can. It's for like you were saying, for this bid a month, that's some people giving up, an extra Starbucks a day. It's a small thing when you look at the big picture.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Nicole. Thanks for that. Look at your Starbucks bill monthly and just say, what if I gave up Starbucks for a month, which everybody had to do during COVID anyhow. And so if I just gave up Starbucks and made coffee at home, you'd probably have your $120 right there that you could donate. Nicole, thanks for this great item. We'll tell everybody to go to radiothonauction.org to bid on it. The Rehab Addicts team, Nicole Curtis and crew, will come out there to your home and give you a home consult on how to fix things up at radiothonauction.org. Good to hear your voice, Nicole. Stay well.
Yeah, thanks. We're super excited. We're still filming in Detroit, slowly but surely. And thank everyone for their support over the 12 years that we've been there. So appreciative, and good luck. And you guys just donate big today. It's a cause and something that we've stood behind for a long time, and very honored to be a part of this today.
Amen. 833-SAL-HOPE or text BREAD to 24365. Back with more after this.
Hi, I'm Connie Holzer, and I'm so proud to be a part of Ford Motor Company. Ford continues to improve itself by building better, safer, and more fuel-efficient cars and trucks every year. Stop by and see us at 10 Mile and Haggerty in Farmington Hills. Give us a chance to earn your... Everyone here thanks you for continuing to support our Michigan economy by buying American, buying Ford, and buying from Tom Holzer Ford. Thank you.
From the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building, you're hearing the great voice of the Great Lakes. News Talk 760 WJR.
If you own a Michigan business, it's time to meet MEDC. The Michigan Economic Development Corporation is here to help your business reach its new potential by connecting you to resources, introducing you to partners, and accessing the necessary capital to build your Michigan business. Contact us today to find customized support for your business at michiganbusiness.org/partnership.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS-ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
WJR.
News, I'm Rich Dennison. President Biden this afternoon announcing he's nominating Washington, D.C. Appeals Court Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to serve on the Supreme Court, filling the vacancy opening with the retirement of Justice Stephen Breyer.
A daughter of former public school teachers, a proven consensus builder, an accomplished lawyer, a distinguished jurist, one of the nation's most prestigious courts.
If confirmed, she would become the first black woman to serve on the nation's high courts. U.S. officials say Ukrainians are giving Russians more resistance than expected.
The Russians are adding reinforcements from Chechnya and from the sea to finish their march to the capital. Thousands of Russian Marines assaulting a beach from the Sea of Azov in southeast Ukraine near the Russian border.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Lviv, Ukraine. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Sponsored this afternoon by Reamer Floors. Shop Reamer Floors now during the Premier Flooring Center. Free Cushing event sale. Save on all Maslin carpets and rugs, plus receive a free deluxe carpet cushion, a value of over $8 a square yard. Offer ends February 28th. Reamer Floors on Telegraph, 1 mile north of Square Lake Road. WJR's Traffic First. Traffic around Metro Detroit moving pretty smoothly. However, up near Flint, I-75 northbound approaching Saginaw Road, 2 lanes are blocked by a wreck. Traffic backed up past Grange Hall Road. And US 23 southbound at Grand Blanc Road, a wreck there. Traffic clogged back to I-75. WJR's Weather First, sponsored by New Image Building Services. 75% of employees would consider quitting if they felt their employer's actions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 were inadequate. New Image Building Services can keep your business clean and disinfected. Call New Image Building Services today, 586-465-4420. WJR's Weather First, partly cloudy skies, partly sunny skies at times too. These snow showers should dissipate sometime after 4 o'clock today. A high of about 26 tonight, cloudy and cold, low down to 16. Ken Rogulski, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Kelly Blue Book. Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer is an official offer to buy your car. Enter your vehicle ID info, answer some questions, then get a no-obligation offer to sell or trade it. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car. Schedule a time and drive away with confidence. For all of the its, KBB.com it.
Paul W. here. I have a question for you. Who do you trust? Will government programs like Social Security and Medicare always be there? Will the stock market just keep piling on gains year after year? With our $30 trillion in national debt, do you see taxes going down? These are the same kind of questions that have kept me up at night as I think about one day retiring. The same questions that I trust my good friend Chris Alberta at Principium to answer for me. Chris helped us rearrange our portfolio in a way that we are nearly insulated from the events that could create financial failure. It's not about how much you've made. It's how much you keep. How much will be left behind for your spouse and children? Every dollar protected from inflation, excessive taxes, unnecessary fees is a dollar that's working its hardest for you. You deserve the time, attention, and talent that Chris Alberta and his Principium team gave to me. You can get it. Take control of your future and call Principium at 888-800-8949 for a complimentary consultation. That's 888-800-8949.
Eric Bowling is on Newsmax, giving you the real truth. Find Newsmax on cable, on streaming, or on your app for the really big news. Eric Bowling, The Balance, exposes the hidden dangers of inflation to your investments, your home, even your Social Security and Medicare. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. If your operator doesn't carry it, call them, tell them you want it. Download the free Newsmax app on your phone and start watching now. Make the switch to Newsmax today.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
How did we ever come to the belief that we have no control over the inevitability of heart attack or stroke? That it was somehow predestined in our genes, inherited, or inevitable due to some random chance that outsmarted the medical field? We've come to accept these two fallacies, but the fact is that heart attack and stroke are 100% preventable, and cardiac disease is reversible. It's not in the genes, it's in your profile. It's time to take charge of your health. Call Dr. Brian Collender at 866-KOLENDER.
Welcome to the Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on WJR. $120 feeds 5 people for an entire month. To donate what you can, call 833-SAL-HOPE or text BREAD to 24365 now. Once again, here's Mitch.
PE. We go now to a good friend of the city of Detroit who isn't always in the city of Detroit, but never leaves the city of Detroit far from his heart, and that would be J.K. Simmons, who I understand is joining us from somewhere around the world making a movie. J.K., how are you?
I'm well, Mr. Mitch. How are you?
I'm good. We're just freezing here in Detroit, but what part of the world are you in?
Well, I'm in the garden paradise of Glasgow, Scotland, right now. So not exactly sitting under a palm tree.
Yeah, they don't write a lot of songs about Glasgow in February. Just not.
No, they do not.
What can you tell us what the film is?
Yes, it is Batgirl, which will be, I assume, probably a year from now-ish. And I'm reprising my Commissioner Gordon character, who I recently found out is the father of Batgirl.
Wow. I don't remember that from the comics. I think they took some liberty with that one.
Well, I don't know. I mean, according to my crack research staff, that actually is the derivation of Batgirl. She wanted Commissioner Gordon's daughter wants to be just like dear old dad and be a police officer and put the bad guys away and save the world. And then she, I think, this is an origin story, so it'll probably be take a few liberties with it, but it's another fun superhero movie.
Cool. Yeah. Outside of the Scotland part, it all makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't use Detroit. There must be a few Gothic buildings in Detroit somewhere.
Yes. We've substituted for even better than that. So hopefully you'll get to make a film here, and we'll get to see you more. But I thank you on behalf of all the citizens you're helping. You help us, of course, tremendously every year with our Say Detroit Radiothon. And the Salvation Army's Radiothon actually goes back even further than ours. It goes back 35 years. Dick Purton, for many years, did it on his radio show, and then it moved over here when Dick retired. And it goes all day long, helps to fight hunger and homelessness right here in Metro Detroit. And I know that wherever you are, Glasgow, Los Angeles, or otherwise, particularly in the last year or two, we have seen the homeless situation really explode. I know on the West Coast they're seeing it quite a bit. You want to speak to that for a moment in terms of your personal feelings about that?
Oh yeah, it's been actually. I'm thinking now. I haven't seen much of Glasgow yet, but I haven't seen much in the way of homelessness here. In my brief time. But yeah, Lord knows, California and New York, both of which I spend a significant amount of time in. I mean, every once in a while in our neighborhood in LA, it'll be, you'll be driving under a freeway underpass that you're used to, having tents pitched and seeing it, basically crammed with homeless people. And then once in a while you'll find it empty. And the first couple of times I felt this sort of glimmer of hope, but I think at least in the case of our neighborhood, all that's happening is I think they're kind of getting swept around and relocated, and the problem persists. And as you were saying, with everything that's going on in the country and in the world now, it's headed in the wrong direction in terms of the numbers and the people that need help.
For sure. Well, the money that raised here will go to help so many people who are in that situation. And I understand that as part of the experience here, you have generously offered to take someone to a Tigers game on a to-be-determined date, which is an extremely generous act on your part, but also a pleasurable one for you, as I understand it, because you are more a diehard Detroit Tigers fan than a lot of people here in Detroit who have just kind of said, wake me up when they have a team, because it's been a few years. But you, no matter where you go, you really are loyal to the Tigers.
Yeah, I always have been, and I do think this is the year that we have real cause for optimism. I think, they've done the developing they needed to do, and now they spent a few bucks, and I'm confident we're going to have a very competitive team. And I would love for somebody to bid a ton of money and help the bed and bread program with the big donation for this auction item, and it'll be as you said, a game to be determined, a home game to be determined, or hey, depending on who the winning bid is, if they want to, come to L.A. or New York, we'll see where else we could catch a game. But Plan A would be home game this season, Tiger Stadium. Still don't have any idea when I can get there. I say Tiger Stadium,
if you go to Tiger Stadium, we'll be watching a bunch of kids play a Little League game, but that's okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But this game will be at Comerica Park. Not just whoever the winning bidder is, but if there's a significant other or a couple of kids involved, we'll get seats for the whole family.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm sure it's going to raise a lot of money, especially because they get to sit near you and pepper you with questions about Commissioner Gordon and do you really play drums and other things like that. So I know having
get the benefit of my wisdom, my baseball wisdom, so I can.
That's right. Now, just one question:
everything that's going on in the field.
Do you keep score? Do you get a program, and are you one of those guys that has to keep score with a pen? And
you know what? The short answer is yes. I generally do, and I did used to be one of those real jerks, like a real stickler about it. But I can, depending on who I'm going with, I can forego that, or if people like keeping score, or if somebody wants to learn how to keep score, I'm happy to do that. And we can pass the book back and forth every half inning.
Yeah, I think if you sign it at the end, everybody will be fine with it. So it sounds like a great experience. I'm sure it's going to raise it's going to raise a ton of money. JK, thanks for always being a friend to Detroit and always being a friend to us here. We really can't express our gratitude enough, but I think you know how we feel about you. And God bless and stay safe over there.
Thank you, Mitch. Thanks for everything you do for Detroit. We appreciate it.
J.K. Simmons here on the Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon. There's your opportunity to bid. It's going to be huge. Make sure you do it. Use our phone numbers and get in on it.
All right. That is the pride of Grosse Pointe, the esteemed actor J.K.
Cool.
Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And
you should bid on that, Steve. You go to a ball game with J.K.?
I just might. Because you know what? The guy's always getting his picture taken in a Tiger cap. That would be awesome going to a ball game.
Yeah. Plus, he might have a second Oscar by that point.
Yeah, he could bring it.
The Fred Mertz Oscar.
Who's going to ask him questions? I'll ask him questions about his insurance commercials.
You gonna get one of those big...
he's the nicest man. I've met him multiple times and hung out with him. But don't go up to J.K. Simmons if you win this thing, and you sit down next to him at Comerica Park, and the first thing you do is, "We are farmers." Okay, he's going to get up and leave. So don't do that. But you can make your donations at 833-SAL-HOPE. You can make your bids. 833-SAL-HOPE to make a donation. Text the word bread to 24365. And, of course, if you want to get in on the auction item things, you visit radiothonauction.org.
That's it.
Radiothonauction.org to bid on that. So that'll be up
for a year on the same one. You can get
Buddy's Pizza for a year is up there. The Nicole Curtis experience, everything is up there.
That's open through 7 o'clock Monday, by the way.
Okay, beautiful.
It's our 15-minute warning. We got to come on.
15 more minutes to match that $35,000 Pat Moran Chevrolet.
You've been holding on to it. Let it go.
Let it go.
Open your hand. Let it go.
Let it go, Larry. Let it go. Back with more right after this.
61-year-old Jackie was living with her adult son in a basement apartment when the June rains in 2021 brought record-breaking flooding to parts of southeast Michigan. Jackie found herself homeless for the first time in her life. She stayed at a hotel temporarily, but she could no longer afford to live there and could not find an apartment. She ended up at the Salvation Army Booth Services Shelter for Women and Children.
Brought her to the Salvation Army, got a bed, and a little letting go of the stress and worrying.
She says the Salvation Army changed her life.
They helped me in every way that you can help someone that's nervous, that's looking for a home, that's stressed out.
Jackie says with the Salvation Army's help, she used her skills to work with the staff to find a new home.
But it's just like looking for a job, how it used to be looking for a job where you could just walk in anywhere and put in a job application. It's the same way as looking for a home.
She says at the worst moment of her life, she was treated with compassion and respect by those at the Salvation Army.
I cried when I left Tuesday. I cried again on Friday because of the way I felt, the way that I was treated.
Jackie is asking anyone who is listening to please give with an open heart to those who came to her rescue. They have so many more people to help.
But these people, they are in my heart for life.
Marie Osborne, WJR News.
Paul W. here. Everyone has heard about the PPP program and the other types of COVID relief from last year. But did you know there's one grant it's not too late to get? It's called the Employee Retention Tax Credit, ERC for short. ERC is like a rebate from the government to reimburse business owners for some of their payroll costs during the pandemic. Eligible business owners can get up to $26,000 per employee. This money doesn't have to be paid back. There's no rule on how it's spent. If you own a business with at least 5 W-2 employees, I recommend you call our friends at AR Law to see if you qualify. That's AYAR Law, AR Law. Their number is 800-513-5315, 800-513-5315. The ERC program has been changed, so even if someone told you that you don't qualify or that you won't get much back, you should still call AR Law, AYAR. The number again, 800-513-5315.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring can be a headache. That's why there's Indeed, the hiring platform that removes the hassle. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates. And you can schedule and conduct video interviews right on their site. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
WJR Traffic and Weather first.
In Roseville, Gratiot Avenue from 12 Mile to 14 Mile. 2 lanes closed for road construction. That'll be that way till about June. About a half-hour delay for trucks crossing both bridges into the United States. And up near Flint, 75 northbound approaching Saginaw Road. 2 lanes are blocked by a wreck. Traffic backed up past Grange Hall. And US 23 southbound at Grand Blanc Road. There's a wreck there and traffic clogged past I-75. WJR's Traffic First, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 34 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan, 1-800-241-3131, or visit cremationmichigan.com. Here's the WJR Weather Channel forecast.
North winds and cold numbers here today, and temperatures do try to return to average this weekend, but finishing up business with some light snows out there today. They're drifting on out of our forecast. Our high today 27, our low tonight 16. Partly cloudy Saturday 35, and upper 30s on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laurie. More on News Talk 760 WJR.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Looking for a great deal on blinds, shades, and shutters? Save 50% off any order during Blindster.com's President's Day sale. Blindster offers custom wood and faux wood blinds, roller shades, cellular shades, even custom plantation shutters. And they're all 50% off for a limited time. Blindster.com.
You've got the 2022 Salvation Army Bed and Bread Club Radiothon. It's the charity drive that shelters more than 77,000 Metro Detroiters every year. Call and donate right now, 833-SAL-HOPE, or text BREAD to 24365. Now back to more with Mitch Albom.
For what it's worth, the CDC, I'm reading, just changed its mask guidelines. and they lowered them greatly, so that now basically over 60% of the counties in the country do not have to wear masks indoors anymore on their recommendation. We're in the low category. I don't know if you got to go check and see where your county is in, but apparently it used to be it was 95% before were, and now it's 63% are not, and so yeah.
Wow. They lowered it anymore. There's going to be a veil mandate. They can let you wear a veil, a mesh veil.
But yeah, that's interesting. So
a handkerchief.
Yeah, maybe Starbucks can get on. I went into Starbucks this morning to try to buy something. I didn't want to go on the line with the cars because it was so long. So I said, I'll go inside. I'll actually take the effort. And I go in and they say, we're open, but our registers aren't functioning. So just take a picture of this app thing or whatever, and then pay online and get it. I go, all right. So I take out my phone. I hold up the thing. And it takes me to this thing like it's a whole app for Starbucks. You've got to fill in your name, your address. I said, I
just don't even want coffee.
Just want to buy something.
You don't even want to drink.
I walked out. Yeah. So maybe this new guideline will help things. All right, we are here to help people who don't have first word problems like those. At 833-SAL-HOPE. Or text the word bread to 24365. Trying to match the $35,000 Pat Moran Chevrolet match.
We can do it
before the top of the hour.
Let's
and
go.
Remember, you can make that auction on that Tigers game with J.K. Simmons. Thanks to the people who are manning the phones at the Meridian Phone Bank, which is powered by Bullseye. I want to say hi to Jim Vella, who we see every year at this Radiothon, and he's right here.
The man. The man.
5-year Radiothon champion, longtime Bed and Bread Club supporter, Salvation Army of Metro Detroit advisory board member. He's the founder of Vella Strategic Philanthropy, a Detroit-based consulting venture focused on helping corporations and nonprofit partners leverage the resources to develop solutions to complex social issues. Of course, for many, many years, ran the Ford Fund. Jim, good to see you.
Good to be seen, as they say, and thank you for the applause. That's the most applause I got since I left the room. So,
yeah, wait till you hear why we clap after we're done with this. So you have been on top of this from the beginning. You've watched it grow, and this year's a challenge, we have to say, because there's a lot going on in the world. Inflation is taking a bite out of everybody. The Russia situation has everybody distracted. But talk a little bit about why those reasons may be the very reasons that you should give this year.
Yeah, well, Mitch, first of all, thanks to everybody for getting us through these 2 hours, and we're making good progress. We've been going since 6 this morning, but when you look at the need, it's as great as it's ever been. And Mitch, you and I have talked about this before. We just start making progress on some of these things that we should be. We'd like to be able to say we're going to feed less people, but we're not. We'd like to say it's going to cost us less, but it's not. And that's just the reality of the situation. And so whatever else is going on in the world, as much as we feel bad about what's happening and we want to do something, like you said earlier, you can do something right now.
Right.
43% of the kids in the city of Detroit live at the poverty level or below. Many of the households that the bed and bread truck serves have multiple children in that household. 8, 10, 6 kids, it doesn't matter, because people are grouping together because they can't afford housing because the rents have gone too high. Now that the eviction moratorium is over, more and more people out on the street. It's getting to critical mass again, where we would hope that the numbers would be going down. Inflation for these people that we are working with on the streets of Detroit, where Jamie and his team come to their neighborhood so they don't have to worry about transportation, they don't have to worry about finding where the truck and the food is. Going to the store and paying an extra $1 for a gallon of milk is a big deal. Paying an extra 50 cents a week for a loaf of bread is a big deal. Paying an extra $1 for a gallon of gasoline is a big deal. So it's not a matter of there aren't any extras to give up. So we need every dollar that we can get today to make sure that we can feed those people. There's really no reason with the wealth in this community that any child should go hungry.
30 minutes from where any of you who are listening to us live are people who need the Bed and Bread Club and the truck. And 30 minutes away, we always say, well, we want to take care of our own. This is our own.
Yes.
Take care of people in our own backyard. This is your backyard. In some cases, it's not 30 minutes. So thank you for that, Jim. Thanks for everything that you do all the time. You're a tireless worker, and you've done so much good in the city. for all those years with the Ford Fund, and we know what you do. The phone numbers are 833-SAL-HOPE. Text the word bread to 24365. You can give online at salmish.org. And you can, of course, bid on the auction items, radiothonauction.com, to make a bid on that as well. I want to say a quick hello to Tim Tisco. Is Tim here?
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, Tim, you want to say hi on the mic, or we want to just wave to you? Yeah.
Tim's over there relaxing.
Yeah, I don't know. It says on my notes here he's representing Bullseye Telecom, president and CEO. They're a real supporter of the Salvation Army's Bed and Bread program, working to power the Meridian phone bank. We wouldn't be able to take all the calls that are coming in.
That's right.
If not for them. So, Tim, we just want to say a quick thank you to you.
Oh, hey, Mitch, we love doing it. You know, the team's been doing these telethons for years, and we supported yours, and they do these. They've got a technology that's really, they call telethon in a box, where they bring that all the gear in. As a matter of fact, it's really helped with employee retention. We've had a couple people who have been approached by others and have actually shared with me the reason they're still with our company is because of the philanthropy and the
Really?
ability to interact with you guys
Very
and
nice.
these telethons.
How wonderful.
So, yeah.
How
Absolutely.
wonderful. Well, let's ring those phones and make them feel wanted
Yes.
and necessary. Because now you're not just giving to help the hungry, you're also keeping people staying with the company and employed, because clearly this is the reason they're staying. So 833-SAL-HOPE, 833-725-4673, or text the word bread to 24365. Thank you so much, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
for
welcome.
everything that you're doing
You're very welcome.
for everybody here. Okay, we're about to wrap up here, and coming up, the anchor leg. Dick
The anchor
Purton,
leg.
Dick Purton, who started this so many years ago, Guy Gordon, and Tim Allen, all coming up in the next hour. Let's try to get that last match here, and here's our last look at the tote board. We get a little drum roll, please. All right, we are at 888,729.
nice.
So we jumped up about $75,000 in an hour.
There you go.
Very nice.
So we clearly matched that $35,000 from Pat Moran. That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
We want you to keep it up, though, folks. We're heading into the next couple of hours. Will be the hours that we usually broadcast the Mitch Albom Show. So those of you who might be tuning in early, we count on our regular listeners to do a great job for this, and I know you will. So even
Never
though
disappoint.
Yeah, you're going to be hearing Dick Purton and Guy Gordon and Tim Allen during our slot. Please give 833-SAL-HOPE. Text bread to 24365. Go online at salmish.org. Best of luck to everybody. We'll see you back here on Monday. And Dick Purton, the man who started it all, takes it over right after this.
As a Blue Cross Medicare member, you can expect access to care as